We're back! Good morning, everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
And it's Board Game Breakfast. We're back from Dice Tower West in a week of kind of radio silence or YouTube silence.
YouTube silence. The sound of YouTube silence by Simon and G-Funk.
But we'll have stuff going up now for quite a while in a row here. We're kind of gearing into position here, so keep that in mind as we go through, as we come back, because we're all, well, many of us are jet lagged.
Yeah, I'm still living in Vegas time. I will be taking a nap in between segments.
But hey, so we got some good news. First of all, we have a contest for you. 2 copies of Sobek. This is the 2-player version of this. This is for people in the USA. To enter this contest, all you need to do is email us at contest@dicetower.com, and in the subject line put the word Sobek, which is like there.
Now, this is specific for a copy of Sobek for 2 players.
That is correct. It's a reimagining of the card game from Bruno Catala. Z gave it an 8 out of 10. You can go look at his review of Sobek, and once we get the 2-player version, we'll talk more about that. But you can win one, so that's a good way to start off here. Another thing we want to talk about is something that we'll all be at, probably, and that's Dice Tower East.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so Dice Tower West is over. Dice Tower East is still a bit away.
July, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to find the
exact date.
Memorial Day weekend, isn't it?
It's not Memorial Day weekend. It is July 4th weekend.
Oh,
Memorial Day weekend is in May. Do not.
May, July, kind of the same.
Okay, so here's some information
Memorial Day,
about
Christmas
Dice
gifts.
Tower East. First of all, registration's open. You're thinking, what should I do this summer? It's great. That's hotel. We've been at it. It's fantastic. It's a nice resort. The Caribe Royale.
Has a water slide.
A little water slide for the kids. They love it.
My kids never stop going down the water slide.
That's true.
You can get merchandise. We're not going to be selling merchandise at the convention. You need to pre-order it. So you're going to be doing that at tabletop.events. That's where you can sign up and get a ticket. So if you want to get T-shirts and stuff like that, we don't have the budget since we haven't run Dice Tower East for like 2 years straight now. We don't have the budget to buy a lot of extra stuff. So if you want that stuff, go there. We're also looking for volunteers. Do you want to volunteer at Dice Tower East? We can use you. You'll get your tickets reimbursed and a commemorative pin that we're making just for volunteers. And so some interesting things there.
I'd like to thank Sharon in the comments for clarifying that Dice Tower East is July 6th through 10th. We are far too tired to remember. Thank you, Sharon. Sharon is
awesome.
Yes, Sharon is the convention. Oh, okay. Mike is making it more and more painfully
More
obvious
clear
that
how wonderful Sharon is.
All right,
all
stop,
of us
Mike. Calm down. Calm
Sharon's
down.
now yelling at us.
Okay, so anyhow, Dice Tower East is coming up. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be gaming. Where Wendy's been working on the library all week, but we're done with the library. That's a lie. We'll be working on it all the way up to the end. And so anyway, lots of different things going on this week. Let's get started with some contributors, and we'll be back.
Hi, it's Taryn.
And Stella here from Maple University and the Dice Tower. Today we have Mountains Out of Molehills. You can see here we set up quickly for a, well, actually for a 4-player game for this bigger board.
Yes, it's the only game played on a 4-poster bed,
It's
which you really don't get that many of these days.
It's actually the box. If you can see here, that's a game box. And you lay it this, and it's a programming game, which is usually chaotic and fun.
Yes, you program 4 moves in advance, you move your moles around under the ground, and they start pushing up dirt. And it's really an area control game of the dirt on top.
The dirt on top. Oh, this is upside down. So you get point at each end of the round, and you get point for the thing that's next to the bottom.
Yes.
The closest to the bottom. Yes. It is one of those chaotic games, so I think that's the nature of programming games. Like Happy Picks, I always love Happy Picks. It might be one of my, probably my first video on Board Game Breakfast.
It was.
Oh, yes, you remember?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is you'll draft and then play 4 movement cards in a row, and there's just enough going on to disrupt your plans. Other moles getting in your path. There's a rock that you can move around to
One
disrupt
rock.
other people.
Yes, that always moves around.
Yeah.
So this is a new release from USL Poly or the OP, and we had fun with this playing 2 players, but we probably like better for 4 players.
I like the extra space that you got to play around at 4 players.
That's right, because otherwise it'll be like, you can see here that's the 4 players, and then that's the 2-player board, so it's like a smaller space.
Yes.
So that's it. Mountains out of Molehill. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Today we are looking at Love Letter.
Oh,
It feels so nice. This is a 2 to 6 player card management game, social deduction bit in there as well, by Z-Man Games. We've played this as a 2, which we're going to talk about now,
yeah,
but also as a 6.
true enough.
To
So,
note.
yeah, is it any good as a 2-player? We don't think so. It's a little bit kind of, it's too, it's you or me, it's you or me, it's you or me. It's a little bit
Yes.
kind of enclosed, we think.
Yes.
It plays okay, but it's not
Well,
very...
seeing as some of the cards are, look at the other person's hand, and
Yeah.
it's just, I know,
So,
I know what you've got
choose
now.
a player to
Choose
look
a
at,
player.
Yeah,
Oh, choose you.
I'll choose you, yeah. We played it then as a 6, a couple of days later with the family. Absolutely different game.
Went down a storm, yeah.
Really good game. So basically you deal out a set of cards, 1 card each basically, and you look at that card and then you draw a card, keep one, discard the other, and do the action on that other card. The challenge is you want to end up with the highest value card at the end of the game, because the highest card wins. But when you play down a card, you do the action that's on that card. Sometimes you can't play the card that you want to play because it's going to give something away.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Or
want to
chuck
challenge
you
someone
out the
else.
round.
Yeah, all sorts of
Very funny
crafty
how
little-
how you can kick some out of the round as well. I like that.
Yeah, there's a player elimination in it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's only a quick round, probably
Yeah.
3 or 4 minutes, and you play it 3 or 4 times, depending on how many players are. First player to get in 6 rounds. First player to get 3 wins.
wins, yeah.
You get these little tokens for a win. Gets the game. That's it. Very simple, very quick,
Simple,
very
but
easy
very
to teach.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good giggle to play with
Yeah.
a 6-player game.
But as a
Very,
2,
very good. Not so much.
falls flat.
Yeah, so there we are. Love Letters now available again. I think it's been in and out of print all over the place. It's definitely in print by Z-Man Games at the moment. So check it out. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Check out our full review as well on our channel.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Today we're talking about Scrutinize. I'm going to quick look up another game real quick. Scrutinize is a party game from 30 years ago that I don't think either of you have ever played.
Nope.
I have not, no. Though from the description of it, I've definitely played games influenced or maybe not directly by this, but this style of game.
There's another game that came out the same year, and I didn't tell Mike, so he's not going to show you a picture of it because I didn't realize it came out the same year, and it's called Picture Picture.
Okay.
So I grew up playing Picture Picture. Picture Picture and Scrutinize both had pretty much the exact same rules. So this was in the early 90s, late 80s party game craze, because party games did make a pretty big comeback. The very popular one at this point was
Category?
Categories, yes. And so both these games are based on that.
Definitely has that same feel.
Yes, although these both kick Categories around the block. Categories is boring, in my opinion. You're just writing down a bunch of words and crossing them off. Picture Picture.
I like categories.
Yeah, I don't care. Picture Picture.
Thanks for coming.
Well, you say it too. I don't care about you.
I like categories. How
Don't
about that?
care. And this time I mean it. Anyway.
This game sounds cool. So.
What it does is it shows you a picture. So the difference between the two, there's two differences. In picture, it showed you some weird picture. It's an actual picture. Like a guy in a candy store, and there's like a zillion different kinds of candy behind him. Okay. Or a monkey playing the drums and all kinds of weird stuff. Scrutinize was a drawn picture with just like a Where's Waldo style picture.
Okay, just a lot of busyness going on.
And in Scrutinize, you covered up half the picture because I don't know why. And then you just wrote down a bunch of things you saw, and then if you wrote for each letter of the alphabet, and if you wrote the same thing someone else, you cross them off. And there's a lot of argument over what you can write. We would argue for the longest time that body parts were not allowed after a while. Because you'd see a guy, and I'd be like, eyeball, eyelash.
Earlobe.
Yeah, it got a little ridiculous. But they were fun games. I liked them both.
Left ankle.
No, you're not allowed to use descriptors. And then there was an argument over whether the descriptor is part of it or not.
Right, yeah.
Like, this is my forehead, that's the front of my head, and we're like, no, that's one word. The Vassals argued over every party game in existence. We actually argued over every game. I am not the loudest Vassal.
You're not.
I'm pretty close, though. But we're all pretty loud. When we first met each other, my wife was like, do you guys like each other? It's like, no, it's just how we play games. Anyhow, these are both, Scrutinize and Picture are both worth picking up in a thrift store if you see them. In fact, if I ever see either one of them, I'm going to put them in Dice Tower Library.
Ooh.
One of the two of them, I would.
I like that type of thing where you want to be unique from other people. It's an easy but good scoring mechanism, basically, And there's so many party games that do that type of thing. But yeah, this is one I would play, hands down.
If you have a mint copy of Picture, let me know. I actually like Picture a little better than Scrutinize, but hey, Scrutinize is the one I put on the thing here. That's a game from 30 years ago.
Well done, Tom.
Good morning. I've been hearing a lot lately about chip theory games, especially their game Too Many Bones that had a really successful crowdfunding run recently. And thinking about and hearing about those games got me thinking about how much I really enjoy the tactile experience of games that use chips. So I went and checked my shelf and I found a few other games that I've been really enjoying that use chips as some of the main components.
The first game I grabbed was Nidavellir, which is a bidding card drafting game where you're using these coins, which I put into cheap coin capsules to make them more like chips. You use these coins to bid for cards, and the cards at the end of the game get you points. So that is my first choice, Nidavellir. Next is War Chest, which is a bag building chip game that is a lot like chess, where you get all of these different pieces. They can move in different ways. You get to fill up this bag with them and draw them out to create your hand of troops to play and use on the board. And finally, Seikatsu, another where you're drawing chips out of a bag to play onto a central board. In this one, you play the chip and score immediately points for the clusters of like birds. And then the neat twist on this one is at the end of the game, each person is playing from the perspective of a different pagoda, so the green, the pink, or the blue, and you score the number of same flowers, so these borders, from your perspective.
That's it for me. Would love to hear in the chat or the comments what kind of tactile games other people enjoy.
Assalamu alaikum. For the next few weeks, I'll be covering some of the worksheets or notebooks that Gameschooler.com provides on their website freely as downloadable content for your board games. These are worksheets and notebooks which kids can use before and after playing the games to actually build up some of the educational elements that they can grasp from simple games. So if you have kids in your family, try to check them out at Gameschooler.com and get these notebooks from there. Let's get on with it. For Ticket to Ride First Journey, it's because the game is targeted to smaller kids, so the worksheet is actually for the smaller kids as well who are yet to learn simple addition or multiplication. Rather than the game telling you, okay, go ahead and calculate the scores, the worksheet let children do the scoring themselves by letting you add up, giving you fill in the blanks where you can fill, okay, how many train routes did you complete with one train? And you can mention those and add them up, simple addition. Similarly, then it will let you do simple multiplication that, okay, how many routes did you complete with 2 or 3 or 4 trains, and then add a multiplication factor to those. It even goes into the multiplication factor of tens as well to calculate scores in those ways, and children can see how fastly they can calculate the scores when they use the multiplication method as compared to the addition method. So if you have very small kids and Ticket to Ride first journey with you, then it's a great worksheet for them to calculate the scores by themselves. Happy gaming!
If you haven't figured it out by now, Board Game Breakfast usually happens on Mondays. Today is Tuesday.
Really?
Okay.
I thought this was like a Groundhog's Day thing. I thought I was reliving Monday.
Well, no, Monday was a day of traveling in airplanes for long periods of time.
I was here.
We should have recorded breakfast, put his pre-recorded segments on the airplane. The person sitting between us, our two seats, would have loved it.
Yeah, we played airplane roulette, which is where we take the window in the aisle and hope no one sits in between us, but that did not happen. So
full flight.
What do you do? So anyhow, so what's coming from the Dice Tower this week? So obviously some things are getting moved around. Board Game Breakfast is today. Z's app. What's happening is happening. It's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening at 10 a.m. today. And my Q&A that I do each week is happening today at 12. There is no marbles today. You know why there's no marbles? Because we just did marbles live at Dice Tower West. You might say, oh, did you record it? No. We don't record most stuff at Dice Tower West. In fact, and that's one, we're not going to record a lot of stuff at conventions for 2 reasons. 1, because we want you to come to the cons. 2, we know you can't make it too. But 2, it's a lot of work for us to run the event. Recording it on top of that is a lot of work. But that being said, we did record the top 10 we did with Sam, me, and Z about 10 things every good game store should have. That will be premiering, which means it's gonna go up live sort of on Thursday at 2. So you'll be able to come in and chat with people while it goes off. And so hopefully you enjoy that. The people there seem to enjoy it, so maybe it's okay. Reviews of games. Libertalia, the new Stonemaier game, will be the Foursquare of that, and I'll be comparing it to the original game.
Oh, you called it a new game, not a reprint.
I have very strong opinions on that. Watch my comparison between Libertalia 1.0 and Libertalia 1.5. Also, Dodo's Riding Dinos, which Chris is beyond excited about and didn't play, but I did.
That's a fun name.
It is a fun name. Chris is still dying to play the game.
I'm going to take it home.
Are you? Well, let me review it first.
I'm going to take it home.
So lots of things coming out this week. There's no new podcast episode this week, so that's one thing that's changed. But me and Eric were able to talk at Dice Tower West, and we'll have more information about our new show very, very soon. So that's what's coming from Dice Tower this week.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about Welcome to the Moon. This has been a brilliant experience of a roll and write campaign-style game. It is 8 maps. They are double-sided sheets, which is really awesome, with wipeable pens, so you don't have to worry about that. And you play through them. You can play them individually or link them together into a campaign. It works in the same way as Welcome to. You're flipping like these number cards over, and they've got sort of abilities, and it is exactly what you want from a Welcome to campaign. You are using the numbers to fill in areas just like in the original. You're using these abilities to do different things on each of the 8 maps, and you're scoring points along the way. Each time, whoever wins, they normally get a choice, and that affects the objectives for the next game and stuff like that. And then there's a campaign deck with weird and wonderful stuff that comes out of it. No spoilers there. The 8 maps are great fun on their own, and if you enjoyed Welcome to, I think it was called like Welcome to ... the Perfect House, try Welcome to the Moon. Skip the expansions for the original and just go straight to this one. Anyway, that is Welcome to, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
Hey everyone, it's Chloe and I'm back talking about board games, physical versus digital, and today I'm talking about a game that I have only played digitally. And the game in question is a game from 10 years ago. It's an information puzzle game called PI. So PI is this wonderful game where you are a little bit like Clue or Cluedo, where you have to find 3 pieces of information, but each of the players at the table is looking for is trying to solve a different crime. So each person has their own, the person that committed the crime, the type of crime, and where the crime was committed. And the way it works is that you will be asking questions. So you might have a card that says, you know, was it at the waterfront? So you'll play the waterfront, and then the person that knows your information will put a token. So they might say it was at this location, or they might say it's at one of the joining locations. And so you're given this certain amount of information and you have to work it out. And it might be that, you know, it's nowhere near the waterfront, but you can only play the cards that you've got, and you use that to gain the information. Now, would I want to play this in person? I don't know how easy it is to get physically, but I think I would play it. But I think it'd be a lot more difficult to play, because when you play on Board Game Arena, the AI is automatically giving the information for the clues. So you don't have to worry about anybody else's thing. You can just figure out your own puzzle. But if you were playing in person, you also have to be aware of what another person is doing to be able to give them the right clues. And if you give them the wrong clues, then you can completely mess everything up for them. So you've got to really be concentrating on 2 characters. So I think that this is one that I want to keep playing on online on Board Game Arena. And until next time, I'm Cloud Barker. Bye.
I want to be really clear that today I'm not talking about you. Hopefully.
Wink, wink.
He's talking about me.
No, okay, so, and I'm not talking about anyone in particular, especially at Dice Tower West. At Dice Tower West, at the end, we had people had to return games by 3, and we had an over-under on how many would be late. Mm-hmm. And I said over 20, and the guy I was wagering against said 5, and it was 5, actually, exactly.
Oh.
There was 2 late games, and then 3 that never showed up, which may or may not already be in the library, or someone stole them, or whatever. Who knows? We'll figure it out later, because there's a gazillion games. But I was pretty good. I was pretty impressed. But it was pretty funny because they made a big board. I don't know if you saw it, with the rules in the library. Mm-hmm. And I said, we don't even need that. We just have don't be a jerk. Should be all we need. But we make these rules. We make them on the cruise in different spots. And I need someone to explain to me. I'm astounded by the fact that people who are very insistent that we follow the rules for a board game feel like rules in life don't apply to them. Like if I say, for example, don't check a game out for more than 4 hours. Someone says, 20 hours is fine by me. But why is that? In a game, if you said you only get $5 on your return for income, I'll be like, I'll take 20. Why? Tell me why. Defend yourself, Chris.
Defended.
Well, I mean, we were talking about this. On the drive over here, and like collectively, as a board gaming society, we agree that the moment around the table, that there's something sacred about it.
You even say that
or however you
gaming social contract stuff. I hate that terminology.
I'm intentionally not saying that, right? But there is this idea that you play by the rules.
We've all agreed to it, even if we haven't, like, verbally agreed to
Sure.
it. We've all agreed to this concept.
But when you're driving, I didn't verbally agree to the speed limit.
You did when you got your license.
That is correct.
I think you legally signed.
But as a society, as a whole, American society, I don't know how other countries are, we have decided that we swore, yes, we would follow rules like the speed limit, and then nobody does. And we get angry at the people who do, actually.
I think
not always. You get angry at the person who doesn't, like today when I got to the 4-way stop and 2 guys went in a row. I was annoyed at that. That's breaking the rules.
No, I'm not specifically talking speed
the
limit.
speeding, like I get annoyed if someone is going exactly the speed limit. I'm like, no, go 5 over. Get there.
Yeah, read the room. Everyone else is going 5 to 10 over.
I think that everybody breaks rules. I think that everybody breaks social rules in life and all of that stuff. We just determine differently what those rules are that we break.
Fine, but I don't think you need to agree to rules to be bound by them. My children do not agree to follow my rules. It just is.
No,
Natural consequences. Life happens.
But that's the thing is, if I am caught speeding, if I'm going 12 over and I get a ticket for it, I have no justification to say, well, really though, I shouldn't get this ticket.
I think that some people approach rules as rules matter if I understand the reason. Some people approach rules as it matters if there's a consequence that I dislike.
Okay.
And then some people approach rules of I care how other people feel, or like there's just different ways that people approach rules, and so that is how we rationalize what we're going to give up or what we're not going to worry about.
I get yelled at a lot about the rules for the convention. You know, the different conventions we run. And I'm not even going to go into the whole mask type thing rules, but the fact of the matter is rules are put there so that everybody has a good time. And it is inherently selfish when you think your good time matters more than other people's.
Yeah.
And I think that should be more understood by board gamers than not. Because you don't do that in a board game.
No, you're saying, well, I'm going to take twice as much income as I should every turn. Makes the game experience less fun for everybody else.
Yeah, you might be having a better time. Like, woo! I thought you said money was tight in this game. It's quite plentiful.
It's pouring out the ears.
I also think people don't read rules, and I don't know how they were posted in Dice Tower West, but in our day and age of, hey, scroll through this like 80 long page paper before you click accept on your website to say that yes, I'm going to follow the rules. Like no one reads those rules, and so are people reading convention rules? Are they reading the gobs of information that they get before they arrive to a convention? At the convention, are they listening when there's announcements and people say, hey, please do this or don't do this?
We're going to make people start swearing an oath as they get their badge, hold it on your hand. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to get everyone to even know what all the rules are at a convention.
I go to the doctor's office. They don't hand me the HIPAA information. They just say, sign this. If you want it, I'll give it to you. Like, there's so much stuff in life to read that we don't read.
But that's all excuses. The fact is, when I'm really clear about rules and people know the rules and don't follow them. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there, but it's like really clear. Like I said, they check out a game for 4 hours. You know that's the rule at cons. People who, when I confront them about this, never go, I didn't know. I don't think anyone has ever said that to me. They're like, oh, well, you know.
They're just excuses.
Yeah, just justification, yes.
Anyway, just think about it is all I'm saying. And you know who you are. No, I don't. Again, I have no one in particular in mind here.
Don't be a jerk.
Let's move on.
Hey folks, Jeff with Tabletop Toolbox here, taking another look at my top 10 things and stuff from 2021. Now I've got a double feature planned here for today, so I'm going to get right to it. My number 8 is gaming events. Now part of this is the local meetup groups that got back into the swing of things at the end of last summer. I also got to go to PAX Unplugged last year for the first time, not only there, but my first gaming convention ever, and it was a surreal experience. I just could not believe how big that space was, how big that event was. Also went to the Dice Tower Retreat, which I may be talking about a little more later on. I also went to a small local event called RiverCon, named after the James River here in Richmond. A little bit more of a retreat itself, and I'm really looking forward to the next RiverCon scheduled for February. Now my number 7 is a bit more abstract, and that is teaching games. As I've continued to seek out some of the bigger games of the hobby, I've tried to take a much more focused approach at how I teach games. And I've taught a couple big ones this year, from On Mars, Star Trek Ascendancy, Eclipse Second Dawn, and even Vindication to Mr. Delisio at the Dice Tower Retreat. And that made one of his top 5 experiences of last year, and I appreciate that, Mike. That was pretty cool. There's a lot of resources online on how to teach games, even Board Game Opinions did a whole series about teaching games on Board Game Breakfast last year. But there's just one tip I'd like to give. Obviously, when we're teaching games, the idea is to get everyone around the table to understand what we're doing. If you get done teaching a game and someone's sitting there going, I just have no idea. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what to do. Then you really haven't done them any favors. But there's another avenue, another angle to it, I think, and that is getting people immersed into the experience. It's one thing to just teach the rules, but it's another thing to teach the game. So you're not just rolling dice, you're sending Vikings in the battle. You're not just moving a worker, you're sending a liaison off to negotiate a trade. And if you can build that experience, if you can connect the theme to the mechanisms, then everyone's going to have a much more interactive experience with the game. And you may take someone who really just wasn't all that interested to begin with into a much more engaged player. And I think that's really key. That's all I've got for today. I've got a couple more of these coming up. I'll see you soon. Cheers.
Hi, this is Ambi from Board Game Blitz, and today I'm going to talk about one of the board games that my twin toddlers have played all the way through, and that's Hungry as a Bear. So this game is about a bear who's hungry, and you're feeding it food, trying to cooperatively get all of the food into its mouth without spilling. So in the game, you actually use the box, and you have this 3D bear standee, and a spoon with a bunch of different food things that you like feed to the bear like this. Like that. It's a dexterity game for kids. It's somewhat difficult for toddlers to do. It's pretty easy if you're an adult. But on your turn, you're going to roll the die. It has different food colors, and then also a happy face for a wild, and then a messy face for you have to spill one of the foods. But then you match the color that you rolled and say what the food is. This is a carrot, and then put it in. And if you spill, then that counts as a negative point. And you want to have more in than out at the end of the game. And then if you do, then yay, you fed the bear, and everyone's happy. So my kids actually really liked playing with this before. They would feed the bear just with their hands and like just try to put all the food in the mouth. But they didn't actually like rolling the die and following the rules of the game because they really want to do like one of my kids really likes the blueberries, so he always just puts the blueberries in. And sometimes now he actually like puts the die to the face of the blueberry and then picks the blueberry. But with some encouragement, I can get them to roll the die on their turn and pick the food and put it in the mouth and kind of follow the rules. I think this game is great for kids because of the dexterity component. It helps with hand-eye coordination, putting the food in the mouth, and also it's a theme that they like and can relate to because they love eating. So Hungry as a Bear is another one of my kids' current favorite games. Thanks for watching Board Game Blitz. Bye!
I just talked about following the rules, Ambi, and your 1-year-old children are cheating.
Just because you like blueberries doesn't mean you can always roll the blueberry die.
Do you find that blueberries are very, very...
lackluster of a fruit?
No.
They're hit or miss.
They are very, that's what I'm trying to say.
I don't
They're
like
very
it when
hit or
they're
miss.
seeds, like when the seeds are very obvious.
I want them to be not squishy.
And I want
when they're
them
not squishy. They
I
need
want
to
them not
pop.
squishy. I want them slightly tart but still sweet.
Yes.
Not watery.
I never liked them because growing up in Vegas, you just don't have access
They're
to very
not
good
great.
blueberries.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Well,
I didn't
that
like them
too.
until I lived in Maryland for a little bit, and then I had like real blueberries, and I was like, oh, these are good. And then I don't know, somehow that made me okay with lackluster blueberries.
Dice Tower West is what we're talking about and reviewing now. We just came back from Dice Tower West, and we'll have a blog of Dice Tower West go up, and I don't know, eventually. We got our Dice Tower Cruise blog to go up first. But Dice Tower West, Chris and I were just there. Wendy held the fort down here by herself. Sorry.
It was lonely.
Sorry.
I played my music really loud.
So Dice Tower West was the last convention we were at before lockdown in 2020. We knew coronavirus was coming. We didn't know what it was going to be. So it felt good to be back. And we were back in a new place. We were at the Rio Hotel with really good digs for the convention. I mean, we had, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500. I know it's a very wide range, but...
We'll get the official numbers later. There were a lot of people who registered who came and bought one-day passes and stuff. A lot of people came with others.
They didn't buy one-day passes. They bought 3-day passes. I want to be clear. I don't want people to get upset. There was no one-day pass.
They bought 3-day passes, but some people even came on like midday Saturday, bought the 3-day pass, and just hung out for the rest of the convention at that point. There's good turnout.
It was really good, but we had the space there. That space could hold 3,000 easy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things. The library was new. The donated library, and by the way, I want to give a big shout out to Bruce, who donated the library. I mean, we've supplemented it and added new games, Kickstarters, and stuff like that. But he had this huge collection. He retired to Hawaii, and said, I want my collection to be used.
And he was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he came back from Hawaii for it.
That's
we
so
got
cool.
to meet him.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And what a great way to use your collections to let
I agree. That's
thousands
fantastic.
of people play it.
And people were very impressed to see all those old games. There was a whole section of games from the 60s and 70s and things like that.
Yeah, it was
that
almost
people
like
were
a
playing.
it was almost like a museum. Like along the back wall, there was all the games to check out, shelves and shelves of games. And then over on the other side it was almost like a museum. You go through, like, wow, look at all of this stuff. We were talking about the memories they had playing those growing up and everything. That was really neat.
That's really cool.
So there was some information released on the top 10 played games. I'm going to look at that, and I'll probably do a separate video on that. But clearly the game of the con was Ark Nova. Not a question. We had 2 Ark Novas on Hot Games tables, and I was worried that there'd be lines of people. But you know what? The game just got released. So how many people brought it? Like 50
bring
people?
their copies?
It was
Oh, okay.
everywhere being played.
I believe that.
And 4-player games, which I don't know, there's just long games of this being played all over the place. There was a lot of cool sponsors, an exhibitor hall. But for me personally, this was one of the best cons I ever went to because the love we got as Dice Tower was overwhelming. We were stopped and people said hi to us. Like the proportion, I felt like almost everyone there knew the Dice Tower. It wasn't quite the case. In fact, we did the top 10. We asked, like, who here has never heard of the Dice Tower? And there were several people who raised their hand. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like most people did.
Oh, it was just so very, very positive. You know, everyone's attitude, I feel like, was really that of excited to be at conventions again, excited to meet us. The number of people who were excited to meet me was really touching because I feel like the new person still, but it was great. It was great. Clearly, fans of the Dice Tower were there. Clearly, people who weren't fans were still also having a great time, though.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, everyone was there to play games. That's definitely the main focus of our cons is to play games and hang out with people. We did some events. The events were fun, and we did our first live marbles. Which was very fun.
It was great to have that response and that feedback right there.
How many marbles did you have about?
Actually, we know. It was 41.
41 people brought marbles in.
No, I ran 12. No, I ran 10, 10, 10, and then 13. So it was 43. 43 marbles.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun, and everyone was getting really into it and cheering, and a kid's marble won, which was exciting.
Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah, it was a really fun time. We did the top 10, which you'll see. There was a lot of different panels. Paula Deming came in and did a phenomenal panel of improv and stuff. So
they had the Content Creator Con. It was great to meet a lot of those people who have interacted with other times and watched some of their stuff. And so they were there. There was the Prototype Con, which I heard some good stuff.
I waved at that con.
Right. Yeah. I didn't personally jump into the room there, but I wanted to be in the main area and teach people games and stuff. People approached me and asked if I would teach them Golem at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I said, of course, because I love that game.
I would have said no and went to bed, but I also wasn't there at 1 in the morning.
Chris
but I was there
doesn't
at
believe
6.
in sleeping. It's okay.
I was there at 6 and got to my early gaming of really bad games, many of which I'll be reviewing this week. So lots of fun. Sam Healy was there, came back, and so a lot of fun. We had a good time. I'm very much looking forward to the next one, although I'm glad it's a year away because we need to kind of relax. But when we were going over things to change for next year and going through it, there's not a lot. I thought it ran very smoothly and well, and if you were a volunteer, very big thank you from me. Thought that the registration, there was almost no lines at registration. The library, lots of fun, and people were teaching games, and the demo team did a great job. People were demoing all kinds of games there, so.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's Dice Tower West, 10 out of 10.
Hello everyone, my name is Dave Luza, and today I want to talk about Calico, the game by Flat Out Games. AEG has published it as well. A game where you're trying to create a quilt and placing tiles, trying to attract cats, put buttons on. It's really a lovely game, but I have a serious gripe with this game because luck is a very big factor in this game, and I was annoyed with it I tried to not play it, but people around me said, well, I do want to play it because it's really nice. Okay. And then I found a way that made us all very happy. I have turned Calico into a roll and write using, well, it's more than just house rules. I just changed the game. Instead of drafting the tiles, there are always 3 on display in the normal game, and you can put them on it. No, what I did is I am using dice to draft instead of drafting. So we're rolling these dice. 2 of them has colors on them. This is yellow and dark blue, and these are the shapes. And what you now do is you make your own combination. So you can take yellow stars or yellow stripes, or dark blue stars or dark blue stripes. So you still have a choice to create the best version of this game for you. In my case, you know what? I am going to take yellow stripes and I'm gonna put them right over here. So there's still a lot of competition going on. Everyone finds their own path to victory, and you can play this game through Zoom or through streaming, who knows. Just send everyone a score sheet ahead of time. This one, of course, is a picture of the original game, and I just prepared it, made a picture, and then printed it out, and I laminated it so I can reuse it. But you do you. But this is the way that I prefer to play Calico. I have embraced the luck and used dice instead. Just a little tip from me. Thanks for watching. My name is Dave Luza. Bye, everyone.
And I do not like that variant. Sorry, Dave.
I love Dave as a person, but I don't know if that gets rid of the luck.
Well, he said he's embracing the luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like the fact that I'm like, oh, this tile can't come out because I can see it's on there and here.
Also, I'm playing Cascadia.
You just know you don't have no hope.
No! We should do a versus. I'm the only person I think who likes this one better.
I liked Calico. I'm not sure which one I like better, actually.
The number 1 played game in Dice Tower West was Cascadia.
Stop ruining things, Mike! All right, folks. So I'll be back at noon, but before noon, Z at 10 will be doing What's Happening. I believe he's playing Fury of Dracula. Thanks to Trey Parker putting that back on his radar.
I guess they really fixed up a chunk of the app and stuff, so yeah. Curious to see how that's going to go.
So, again, folks, realize we just got into the studio, so we are working on getting things done, but we will have content for you. We have reviews and things coming, so hope you enjoy it. And, of course, live board game breakfast on Thursday. We still have crowd surfing tomorrow. Our shows are back for the most part. Oh, and Friday we're playing Far Cry, the board game, live here.
Beyond, I think. Far Cry Beyond.
Far Cry Beyond. Is it?
Beyond Far Cry.
Beyond Far Cry?
It could be.
Like the farthest of cries.
Yes.
Anyhow, we should end this. I'm really obviously jet lagged. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Have fun crying afar.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vassell and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.